You know, artificial intelligence is pretty much everywhere now. In our cars, our homes, what we watch. But now, it's not just knocking on the classroom door, it's already inside. And that's raising this huge question for every single student, teacher, and parent out there. Is this the revolution in learning we've been waiting for? Or is it a risk that could change everything for the worst?
So let's get one thing straight right from the start. AI in school isn't some sci-fi far-off idea. For millions of students, the AI-powered classroom is here. It's happening right now.
And this is the question you're seeing in headlines everywhere, right? Has AI broken education? It just perfectly captures the debate we're all in the middle of. Is this new tech a brilliant creator or a total destroyer?
To give you a sense of just how big this is, a recent global survey found that a staggering 86% of students are already using AI for their schoolwork. We're not talking about a niche tool for a few tech-savvy kids. This has become a mainstream thing that's swept through campuses almost overnight.
Okay, so with that many students already on board, let's start with the optimistic side of the story. What exactly is the big promise of AI? Why are so many people embracing it as this revolutionary tool for education?
And look, if you think students are just using AI to cheat, the data tells a completely different story. The top uses are actually for real learning. More than half are using it to gather info and brainstorm ideas. It's basically like a super-powered assistant for checking grammar, summarizing dense articles, and breaking down really complex topics.
I think this quote from Darren Person at Cengage Group just nails the heart of this optimistic vision. The goal isn't to replace teachers with robots, right? It's about using AI to handle all the tedious, repetitive stuff so that educators can focus on what they do best, building relationships and inspiring students with that uniquely human touch.
And for teachers, the potential benefits are huge. I mean, just imagine an AI that could instantly whip up a dozen different versions of a lesson plan, each one tailored to a different learning style. Or an AI that automates grading for basic assignments. This could free up countless hours, letting teachers spend more one-on-one time with the students who really need it. But of course, it is not that simple. For every amazing promise, there's a potential pitfall. And this super-fast adoption of AI has created some major challenges and, let's be honest, a lot of fear. And this right here, this is the core of the problem. You've got this massive disconnect. On one side, you have that 86% of students who have just jumped right in. But on the other, only about 61% of faculty have even tried these tools. And what's even crazier? Of that group, a whopping 88% admit they barely use it. There is a giant chasm between how students and teachers are dealing with this tech.
So what's holding educators back? Well, the concerns are pretty serious. At the very top of the list, a huge one. 82% are worried about academic integrity. But it's not just about cheating. Over half are concerned about the accuracy of what AI spits out, and nearly 60% are worried about data security and privacy. You add on top of that fears about bias in the AI models and just a plain lack of training, and you can see why so many are hitting the brakes.
And this gap between how students are using AI and how schools are teaching it, well, it has real-world consequences. A recent Cengage report found that 55% of recent graduates feel their school programs did not prepare them to use AI tools in the modern workplace. So we've got a whole generation using AI, but the system isn't teaching them how to use it effectively or ethically.
So where does that leave us? Professor Kareen Hyde of USC, I think, frames the challenge perfectly. And the takeaway is crystal clear. The technology itself isn't good or bad. It's a tool. It's in our hands, and the responsibility for how it's used falls squarely on our shoulders.
Okay, so if the responsibility is on us, what does a path forward actually look like? Well, faced with this dilemma, schools and policymakers are starting to build frameworks for how to use this stuff responsibly. And this isn't just talk. Here's a real-world example from a school trust over in the UK. They've created this incredibly detailed flowchart for evaluating any new AI tool before it ever gets near a classroom. They're looking at everything from data security to its actual educational value. It's a structured, thoughtful process, not just a panicked reaction.
And their whole policy is built on a set of core principles. Any AI tool has to be child-centered and ethical. It has to empower teachers, not replace them. And, this is crucial, it has to address equity and access for all students, all while being open to constant improvement as the tech itself changing.
The big idea guiding this whole approach is something called intelligence augmentation. And the goal here isn't for artificial intelligence to replace human intelligence. Instead, it's about a partnership.
The human teacher stays in the driver's seat, setting the goals, while the AI acts as this powerful co-pilot, making them even better at what they do.
So if we boil it all down, the path forward seems to involve 3 really critical steps. First, we've got to promote digital literacy for everyone, teaching them to be critical consumers of AI. Second, we have to invest in real, meaningful professional development for teachers. And third, we have to be flexible, constantly checking what works and what doesn't, and adapting as we go.
All of this really points to a future where this partnership between humans and AI could fundamentally reshape what it even means to learn and to teach.
Which brings us to that final big question. As this technology gets more and more woven into our classrooms, what role is it ultimately going to play? Is AI just another tool, like a calculator? Is it a personalized tutor that guides each student? Or could it one day become something more, maybe even a teacher in its own right? The answer to that is going to define the next generation of education.